Okay. Thank you for allowing me to be here. I don't know that you knew I was coming. Sounds like you didn't. But any chance that I have to educate people on this topic is awesome for me, because I don't care what class you guys are taking. I don't care if it's a math class, actually. It's this information that I'm going to share with you that I think is invaluable for everyone in our world, because in our world, we are all in it together. And unfortunately, my type is kind of an endangered species, because we're very rare that people think they see transgender people around. But we're everywhere, and we're becoming more and more popular, if that's a word, with Caitlyn Jenner and many, many children that are coming out and becoming who they really were meant to be. I don't know what that's about or why it happens to people. I'm sure that you all have your own opinion about what is really happening with people like me, who would have their whole world turned upside down. I've had my whole world turned upside down. I was married for 28 years, have 3 beautiful children who are now older and out of college, actually. But I'm no longer in that structure. I no longer have that stability of a family, because they couldn't, they didn't understand it, number one. And number two, they couldn't deal with what it entailed, whatever that meant to them. I don't know what it meant to them. I have an oldest son. He's 31 right now, engineer down in Arizona. I haven't talked to that child in going on 5 years. We used to be really, really close. I don't know what's going on in his head. I don't know what's going on in his head. His brother, who is 28, will be turning 29 in December. He was one of my biggest fans, and thank God he is. He moved out to be with his brother to kind of knock some sense into him as best he could. He's been down there with him now 3 years. It's not working, but we're still working on him. But it's very, very difficult. I ended up having to get a divorce, something I never in a million years wanted. The worst thing that could happen to my life was that, and it happened. So what I'm talking to you about is very, very real. I'm a very, very real person. I have a lot to share, and it's all from my heart. I don't speak out of any place other than love, really. But I know a lot of people have an opinion about what they think it's about. And what I found about opinions is it's one of the lowest forms of knowledge. You know, it's right down there next to gossip, hearsay. And, you know, you hear people say, well, I don't believe that they're not making a choice. I think they're making a choice. So they're giving their opinion on the topic, and that's where their argument is. Their opinion is, I think that they should be able to not do that. I don't want to do that. Therefore, they don't want to do that. So, you know, that idea that if any of you came into this room, well, first of all, you didn't know what I was going to talk about, so you didn't get a chance to think about it. But my fault. It's her fault? Well, next time. Because I like to kind of be set up a little bit to let you guys know, but caught you off guard, and now you're here and you're stuck and you can't leave, because then you make me feel bad, right? So maybe that's a good thing. And I'll try and entertain you. At least you're not listening to her, right?
Right.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
We've been friends long enough.
Yeah, we go way back. I actually just finished teaching a 36-year career. I just retired last June. So I am enjoying, yeah, thank you. Believe me, it's awesome. I do say to you, plan for it, though, because, you know, it's hard to get out there and realize that maybe one day you won't be able to retire. But I was fortunate enough to do that, and I'm really, really enjoying it. So I just want to plant that seed in your mind to start sticking money away. If you can, when you can, do it as soon as you can. You'll thank yourself at the end. So this idea of transgender people being new and to the forefront usually hits the bad rap from the people who you would think would be the best about it. And that is, and I'm gonna say some things that might be uncomfortable to some of you because I know I'm not meaning to do that, but the people who go to church every Sunday and pray to their God and drive. What's funny is that they'll not you guys, but they'll drive to church passing the homeless people on the streets in their nice new clothes, get to church, pray, do their good thing, drive right back by the homeless people, and that's their good deed for the week, and they are in their church. I do church things. We have our church picnic. We have all that church, and I find that those are the people who are the most critical and opinionated about transgender people. My question is, where do they get that? Why are they saying that we are an abomination? Well, believe me, I know where they get it from. It's from their book. The book that they claim is the word of that being up there somewhere. Which, believe me, I don't knock it. If you are becoming a better person by going to church, by all means, go to church. I encourage people to go to church just for that alone. But if you're going to church and they're telling you that people like me are bad and horrible to have in this society, then go find another church. Because I can tell you, we are awesome people, and we have struggled. We have struggled mightily. And there are people all around you like me. There might be even some people in this room. I don't know. God bless them if they are, because I know their struggle. It's a tough one. So I'm not here to beat up on the church or anything else, but I look for those branches of groups that are most targeting and hateful. And I find them there. And no, that's not where they always are, but I find them in that place, and I just don't understand it. So I got to say that I was a churchgoer I grew up Catholic. Grew up in a little bitty town about an hour from here. It's called Sublimity. Does anyone in here know where Sublimity is? Yeah. See, it's a real place, right?
It is.
Not a very big place, but it's a real place. Yeah. When I grew up, it had 500 people in it. And I was from a family of 11 children. Very Catholic family. Now, for me to live in Sublimity now, still, at this day and age, would not be a good idea. Because those people down there, God love them, are not quite on board with diversity. I don't think I saw a black person until I was in college. I am not shitting you. I'm not kidding. That's how secluded that little area is down there. Not only that, but everybody in the town went to the same church. So it was a very, very sheltered environment. Went to a Catholic grade school, went to a Catholic high school, went to a Catholic college, and ended up teaching in a Catholic school for 10 years after I got out of teaching college. So, did the Catholic thing for a very long time. Got to the point where I knew this was happening with me. I didn't know to what extent. I mean, I knew it like at the age of 5. So the youth really do know. In fact, they know even more now. If you get any of the stories, if you do some research on this, don't take your opinion, but go do some research on it, and go look at some of the YouTube videos of these young kids who are 3, 4, 5 years old, who they are adamant about who they are. You don't put them in a dress, because they will tear that thing off, and they will do a tantrum. Put them in a t-shirt and a pair of jeans, and that kid is the happiest kid ever. And they want their hair cut short or whatever, or longer hair or whatever. They absolutely know. So, and my opinion is that these are just shells that we carried our souls with. I'm a very, very spiritual person. I just need to say that. I'm not anti-spirit at all. It's one of my favorite topics. But my research has told me that these bodies that we move around in are just our containers. And they're giving us a glimpse of a world to try and get along in for a very short time. If you're lucky, you'll make it to 85, God help us if that happens. I lost both my parents Once my dad was 55, and get this, my dad was transgender, and I didn't know it. When I was 18 years old, I walked into their bedroom, and here my dad is sitting on the bed putting on a pair of pantyhose. And I said, Dad, well, my first thought is he like me? I go, Dad, what are you doing? As lightly as I could say it. He goes, oh, these are some of your mom's old holy pantyhose, and, you know, they keep my legs warm. It's going to be cold tonight. We're going to go to a football game. Keep my legs warm. Oh, okay. I believed it. Come to find out later, after my 28 years of being in a marriage wife to someone who I adore and I still adore, and is now married to somebody else, I'm telling you, there's no bigger pain than that. No bigger pain at all. So my spouse tells me I can't do it anymore. I didn't sign up for this. I signed up for this? Right. She couldn't do it. So I say, okay. She goes, I'm going to move out. I said, don't you move out. We had a child who was 15 at the time who's actually living with me right now. She's out of college, but she lives with me. I'll get into more of what her deal is. And she's another big supporter of mine, thank God. But I said, I'll move out. And she had already set up an apartment that she was going to move into. And it just so happened it was owned by my cousin from Sublimity, from the state in Sublimity, if you know that area, it's the same. And my cousin's mom is from Staten and has a really big mouth. In fact, if my cousin knew why I moved into his apartment, and he told his mom, the whole town down there would know before my mom would even know. That's how gossipy that is down there, and how she is. So I knew I had to tell somebody before I went down there, and have them tell my mother, because my dad was already gone. So I go to my sister. There was a golf tournament that I was going to play in for my old high school. And I go to my sister that's there, and I go, Teresa, I need to talk to you about something after golf. She goes, okay. So we do the day, and after the golf thing, we'll go out to the parking lot. And the first thing she says to me is, you and Kim aren't breaking up, are you? And I said, well, it's kind of more involved than that. And I don't really know how to tell you without really just coming out and telling you. I said, I'm transgender. Scared to death to tell her, because I don't know how she's going to react. But I figured of all the kids, brothers and sisters I had, and of the other 10, that she would be the most supportive, and she was. But her words to me were, I know all about that. I said, you know all about that? How do you know all about that? Did you catch me and I didn't know it, or you know, somewhere? Because I'd go out in their closet a lot when I was in high school, grade school and stuff. I had 2 older sisters, so I was number 3. So 2 girls, then me, and then 4 boys, and then 4 girls. So quite a crazy place, actually. So she goes, I know all about that. I go, how do you know all about that? She goes, oh, well, I'll say, let's see if I can say it. Well, it doesn't matter now. Dan's transgender, her husband. And I go, what? She goes, yeah, I found him with my wedding dress on the second year that we were married. So she didn't know who to tell. So she goes home to my mom, who was only like a couple miles away, and said, guess what? I just found Dan in my wedding dress. My mom said, you married your father. And that's when she found out that my dad was transgender. And then she told me, and that's when I knew that he was transgender, but he was long gone. What had happened was Dan, who had always helped them by going up to their house and mowing the lawn and stuff, walked up to the driveway of their house, and there was a big picture window by the living room. He surprises my dad, who's sitting in that living room with a nightgown on, and scampers across the room to change as he's seeing Dan walk up to the deal. I don't know if they ever connected or talked about it. Dan is now Danny, living in Palm Springs as her true self after living a lie for 62 years, and is the happiest this person's ever been. And before, when I was growing up with this person, and my sister stayed with Danny for 17 years, transgender thing was not the issue that they divorced over. The issue was Danny had no self-esteem. You would walk up in a family reunion or like a Christmas or Easter thing in a family gathering, and you'd walk up and say, "How you doing, Danny?" He would just sit there like this, and he'd stick his hand out, and he couldn't even shake your hand. He couldn't look at you, for one. This person's self-esteem was this high. I kid you not. No one knew what was wrong. And they were drinking all the time, and just plain feeling like crap about themselves. You see that same person now. There's a light. It's just awesome what's happened. But that's what our life is. We don't do this because that's what we want to do. It's something that we have to do. And the kids that you're going to be involved with are going to be the same kind of kid, that they're going to be who they are. And they're going to need you, if you are a supportive person in their life, an adult, what do you call them? Someone who they're looking up to in their life, they're going to need you to be as supportive as possible. One thing I ask a lot of the classes that I speak at is really gets people, and this is going to get to you. I want you to think about all the people that you know right now, that you love. Think of all of them. Think about the one that you're closest to. Boyfriend, girlfriend, mom, dad, brother, sister. People that you say you love all the time. What would you do if they came up to you and said, and they're scared to death, first of all, to say it. You do not know what you're going to do. And the thought in their mind is that you're going to run. Because all the people that I thought that I had to tell were going to do that, and most of them did. What would you do if they said, "I'm transgender"? You don't have an excuse. You know what it's about now. You probably knew before I started talking about it. But what would you do with them? Would you say, "It doesn't matter to me. I love you. I support you. I don't know what it means to me now, but I am with you. I support you. I love you." You will not understand how big of words those will be to that person. It will happen to somebody in this room. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Maybe it's already happened. In classes I've talked to in the past, there have been people who have said, "It happened to me," that I had to react to that. And I've had a lot of people say, "I hope it doesn't happen to me, but if it does, I hope that I am the one that says, 'I love you back, and I will be here for you.'" So that is the challenge. These people are so afraid to speak the truth about who they are. And believe me, they wouldn't be doing it unless they didn't have to. I had a lot of friends. I had couples that my spouse and I would party with all the time. Close friends were our neighbors. 16 years next to them. Any problem they ever had, I would be there for them. I'm kind of a tinkerer. I like to dabble with, I'd rather fix it myself than pay somebody to do it. I know some people would rather pay somebody to do it than fix it themselves, but I'm the other way around. So if I got a leaky pipe, I'd fix it. I didn't know how to do it, but I always saw the guys that were doing it, and I'd go, "I'm just as smart as that person. I think I can do it if they can do it." And that's how I look at everything. So they'd come in, and my neighbor got a leaky faucet one day. He calls me, "Oh, what am I going to do?" I said, "I'll fix it. Not a problem. Thanks so much. Love ya." Love you. Bullshit. I haven't talked to those people in 6 years. And they told me at the time I had to tell them, because I had to move out of the house and I wasn't going to be their neighbor anymore. It crushed them. But I said, "I'm transgender." I was bawling, telling them. They didn't understand it. They go, "It won't matter to us." It won't matter. 6 years ago. I haven't seen them at all. I haven't heard one word from them. Not an email, nothing. These people told me they love me. Well, that gets me on another topic about what love is, because that's why I think the crux of the matter is. We are in a world where people don't understand what love is, and the love that everyone tries to find in a spouse, especially, no matter what spouse that is, the love. They want to find somebody that they can love. Unfortunately, based upon all the statistics of the divorce rate, people aren't around loving each other, they are around needing each other. I need you very much. I need you. I need you. Don't leave me. I need you. And when I hear people that are saying they're loving each other, they're the same people like this couple that were my neighbors that were making fun of each other in front of me all the time. In front of me and my spouse, they would cuss at each other. We had other friends, they would say the F-bomb in front of each other. And they said they loved each other? I call bullshit on that. They don't know what love is. Whitney Houston, God bless her soul, wrote a song. I don't know if she wrote it, but she sang it. The greatest love of all. And I can tell you on the journey that I have had, the greatest love of all was the love that you have for yourself. When you can get that place where you don't need anybody to fill up your space, where you don't need anybody to say, I love you, I appreciate you loving me, but I don't need you to say it to me because I love me. And I'm okay with it. And if no one else does, I'm doing the best I can. I walked in this room today as a person who has only one thing in mind, and that is to improve our world. As best I can. Deb's asked me to come to this class and talk for the last 7 years, I think. And each time I do, and it's a couple times a year, usually. Spring, fall, winter. And believe me, I enjoy doing it or I wouldn't do it. And at the end of this, I'm really going to need, if I can, to get some feedback from you. Just to say, you know, whatever your message is, go for it. I think it's a good one to spread. Or you could say, don't be so harsh on those church people, you know. They're doing the best they can. And they are. I know they are. But I don't know. I just really have a hard time with them thinking, you know, I love my church. I love my people in my church. But you? I don't think I'm going to see where I'm going in all this. And I go, and I'm pretty sure I won't be seeing you either. So just so we're on the same page here. So anyway, the idea that we need each other, I talk about this concept with, everyone usually has a cup in their hand, invisible cup, and they're going around to everybody in their secured world, and they're saying, would you be my friend? Please help me fill my cup, because this is my good feeling cup. When it's full, I'm good, I'm happy, nobody can piss me off, I'm good. But it's got a leak in it, and some people's leak is really big. Some people's cup doesn't have a bottom on it. So they are constantly needing. You know those people that need. I need. They're always miserable. Well, my point and message about that is, when you get to the place where you are good here, you'll get in a relationship. You'll only look for someone who is also good there. Because the relationships that are happening in our world, or have happened, have been the need person here and the need person here, and as long as the need is filled, as long as you're filling up each other's cup, then we're good. But as soon as somebody screws up and said, oh, I need you to do this, I need you to load the dishwasher, I'm doing it all the time, I need you to take the garbage out, then they break up because of it? Well, there's something going on that isn't right. The message isn't communication. It is communication, but the message truly is, get out of a world of need and get into the world of love. And that is a place that you will be secure. Be secure with yourself in that world, and it won't matter what other people are doing. And that's where I come in. When people have, well, everyone has a belief box, I call it. This is a belief box. My neighbors had a belief box. Transgender people weren't in it. So I come along and say, guess what, neighbors, I'm transgender. They tried to put me in their box, their belief box. They put me in there and they go, this doesn't feel very good. I don't know what I get. I'll feel better if I take them out. And that's what they did. They just took me out. Moved on. They left me out of their belief box. Everybody has one. What's in your belief box? What I'm hoping that will happen today is that I can somehow sneak into your belief box if I wasn't in there before. I don't mean me. I mean my people. Because I am somebody from some people. And we need to be cared about in this world. We want to have headlines. Headlines like MVP. Not murdered, shot in the face, left on the street. Those are the headlines that we have constantly. There are no good stories about transgender people unless you go searching for them. They're there if you go searching for them. They're online if you go searching for them. Nobody goes searching for transgender stories. Are you kidding me? They're not in my box. They don't make me feel good. They're going to hell. That's what my preacher said. Go find another preacher. I want to be in your box, and so do all the people like me. We're here to be here. We've got two things to do. You have it, and I have it. Those two things are to love and be loved. That's it. That's our only goal here. Our whole existence. If we can't do either one of those, we're going to be unhappy. And believe me, I love people. I was a teacher for 36 years. I don't know how I did it. Anybody in here going to be a teacher? Thinking about it? Woohoo! What a great, great occupation for doing really cool things and not getting paid for it. But you're doing really cool things, I'm telling you. Teaching, I don't regret one day of it. I had butthead kids, some here and there. But I would look at the good kids and focus on them. So, one of the kids that I taught, this was, and I want to give some time for questions too, so I'll try and go through this quickly.
An hour.
I know. What time we got here?
I don't know what time is it.
Well, almost noon.
Okay. Well, I want to get you guys writing stuff for the last 10 minutes or so.
Straight at noon.
So, gosh, where was I? Oh yeah. So I've taught many kids. I've probably taught 5,000 kids in my career. Of those 5,000, I've taught a lot of transgender kids. I didn't know it at the time. They got in contact with me. One of the kids was, I taught as that other person for 30 years. Realized at the point where I would actually stayed in my marriage if I could have. I wanted to. I got the boot. Wasn't my decision. There are people in this world that I know that used to know me who don't care about, well, I won't say care about me anymore, but don't deal with me anymore, who thought I was the one who made this decision and said, and had this thought of, how could you do that? You screwed up your family. Blah. I didn't do any of that, believe me. But 6 years I was able to teach as myself. Best 6 years of my life, I got to tell you. My kids knew how happy I was. Still teaching math, still doing the thing that they hated, most of them anyway. Remember your geometry class? Right? Well, I did that every year. I had to teach those kids that didn't learn the geometry class. But the first year I came out as Nicole was in 2009, fall of 2009. So I go into my classroom. First of all, the whole summer before is a shitstorm, let me tell you. I'm not on a radio show. I'm talked about on a radio show. In fact, one day I'm sitting in my house on my computer, and I get a phone call from a friend of mine. And she goes, her husband, David, was out doing home inspections. He's a home inspector. And he was listening to the radio, and he was listening to this talk show. And he goes, tell Nicole, I think they're talking about her on the radio. So Sarah calls me and says, Nicole, tune into AM 1080 or whatever it was. Lars Larson had a show that they were crucifying me. This person who is used to be a man is now going to be a woman in this high school that's local, and how can we stop this from happening? It's going to be so horrible. Blah, blah, blah. And, these people would call in, because I don't know if you guys know who Lars Larson is, but he had these people calling in, because this is a pretty far syndicated show. I mean, it's all of Washington and Oregon, and I'm sure it even goes to the East Coast after a while. Well, they have these people call in from these little towns like Sublimity that would say, "Can you believe it? There's no way my son or daughter would be in that classroom. No way." And they didn't know what they were going to be missing. So I got crucified. 2 hours. Next day, 2 more hours. Lars Larson. Don't like that guy. Anyway, so so I get into school. The faculty deal before is kind of okay, because I'm now, after 20 years being with this group of faculty, because there was 10 years before that I was in another school. So 20 years of teaching with this faculty, and now coming back as Nicole. You talk about courage. I'm telling you, the courage that this body has, unbelievable, unbelievable. I could. Don't tell me what I can't do, because I did it, and man, not many people could do what I did. I'll tell you that. So first day of school, kids are in my classroom. I am shaking like a leaf, scared to death. No, but here's what I thought. I don't have to teach the parents. All I have to do is teach these kids. And these kids, I didn't teach them last year. The school's big enough that the kids move around. You know, if you're from a big high school, the kids move around every year. So if they have the same teacher 2 years in a row, it's like winning the lottery. For some, it's not the lottery at all, but you know what I mean. So I did have like 3 kids from the previous year in all 5 of my classes that I had that year. But in the class that I had in this geometry kit, at the time she was a junior. I didn't know this about her. I tried to commit suicide 6 times. In the course of that, probably in the course of like 3 years. Was a junior in a geometry class of freshmen. First of all, my first red flag is a junior in a freshman class, not much success previous. So I'm targeting this person as, I need to hold this person in my arms and say, it's going to be okay. I understand math is hard for you. Let's get through it and I'm not going to make this hard on you. I won't. She's looking at my pink toenails at the time going, that is just disgusting. How can he have, pink toenails? And at the time, she was struggling with it. Because all of the school was struggling with it. Because it was just me on the spotlight and going, holy crap, what am I doing? But I had to do it, and I did it. I'm so glad I did. But she's staring at me. She goes, I don't know about this person. But I was good to her the entire year. Made it through the year. Lost contact after that. Last fall, about a year ago right now, actually, I get a Facebook message. Thank God for Facebook, because I've connected with a lot of my old kids, even after, which is really cool too. She messages me and she goes, you probably don't remember me. All of our old students always say that. You probably don't remember me, but I was in your geometry class your first year that you transitioned to Nicole. And she goes, I just want you to know that you were my favorite teacher, and I'm just like you. And you probably don't want to text me back or anything. And she goes, that's okay with me, but I just wanted to let you know that. Immediately I get back on and go, of course I want to contact you. What the hell is going on with you? Can we hook up for a beer? Yes, let's hook up for a beer. I say, you 21 yet? Yes, I'm 21. So we hook up for a beer. And right now, she is Ridian. He has been on the hormone testosterone for the last 6 months, is happier than he has ever been in his life. And we see each other about once or twice a month for beer. Unbelievable, though. This person says that I saved her life, his life. And I didn't know what I did. All I did was be who I was. So we have power. Teachers, you have power that you didn't know you had and will continue to have. And is teaching going to be easy for you? No, it's not going to be easy for anybody in this day and age. So I give high kudos to anybody that goes into teaching now. It's very difficult to get into, so you are heroes in my mind, believe me. And all you other people that are going into the world to, you wouldn't be in this class unless you were getting into the idea of helping people, because our world needs help. It needs help dealing with diversity, people who trying to get through You know, it ain't just transgender people that are trying to get by. It's everything. Our economy sucks. Our world is just crumbling. So we need good people to keep it together. But we need the people to love each other. But we got to love ourselves first. That's the biggest deal. Once we do that, it doesn't matter after that. You won't go looking for somebody that you need. And if you're in a relationship, you won't have to need them to do anything for you. And you'll just sit there and smile at them and go, I love you. And I don't need you to be anything other than you are. And the question will be, they come to you and say, I'm transgender. What the hell are you going to do? That's a big one, let me tell you. My world totally changed. Now, post-destruction of Kim's clan, I told you that my daughter's living with me. She was living down in Arizona with her brothers. Her and her older brother don't get along very well. They kind of clash a little bit. He picks on her because I don't know why. He has low self-esteem. Sorry, Brian. But she came back, and I said, come live with me. So right now she's working as a teacher assistant at the old high school I used to teach at, which is very, very cool. And she loves it. And all these kids that had me for a teacher now know that she's my daughter, and they're able to talk to her and get the communication back to me. It's really, really, really cool. But what else would I... Debbie, can you think of anything I'm leaving out that would be important to...
Talk about when you were 3 and 4 years old.
Well, this concept of when did you know? When did you know? I was a big time athlete. I actually played college baseball at University of Portland with a scholarship, and then actually got to play professional baseball after that. So I was in a jock atmosphere all the time. I loved basketball. I was just a very big athlete. I loved balls. So when I was a little kid, I wasn't drawn to dolls. I was drawn to balls. But that's what little boys did. So I thought, well, little boy. But one day, I asked my brother at the time, I said, hey, Ed, let's go play in the attic. I know there's some clothes up there we can dress up in. And I knew there was a little dress in there that I could wear that, I don't remember if I had tried it on before that. And I think I was 5 at this time. So it goes, okay, so we'll go up the attic, and I put this dress on, and it was like magic. It was like Christmas Day all over again. I don't know what time of the year it was, but it was so magical. I thought, what in the hell just happened to me? But it was in the back of my mind that I liked it, so I didn't know what that was about. Well, my brother put on a dress too, and we're sitting there playing. I don't know what it's about. So we get done playing. The next day, I go, hey, Ed, let's go do that again. He's 4. He goes, no way. That was stupid. I'm not doing that again. That was awful. I go, oh, I liked it. I want to do it again. Yeah, that's what I knew. Don't say anything to anybody. And I didn't. So I didn't tell anybody until I was 40 years old about it. And that's when I shared it with my spouse in our 17th year of marriage. And I'm laying on the bed going, crying, just bawling my eyes out. And I'm leaving a lot of this out now, and I'll give you a link to my YouTube channel if you want to see anything about the story, because I've got it on YouTube as a story, as you can hear what it was all about. But I'm lying there, rolling back and forth and crying, just sobbing, knowing that if I tell her, she may walk away from me. But I was at a point where I was ready to burst. She goes, what's wrong? I said, I can't tell you, but I got to tell you, but I can't tell you. And all this time, I didn't know what transgender was. I didn't never heard of it. All I knew was something was wrong. I didn't know why my mind was making me think that I wanted to be this person in front of you now. And I said, I can't tell you. Tell me. I can't tell you. If I tell you, I'm thinking in my head, if I tell you, you might kick me out of the house. I don't know what to do. Worst feeling ever. That you have to tell somebody that. Knowing that they may not. And all the friends that I had, that I told, thinking that they'll leave my life. And 90% of them did. And you wouldn't know who the right ones were or the wrong ones were. He didn't know who the ones were that would stay or the ones that would leave. That's my point. Right now, side note, I golf once a week, at least with a friend of mine who I met my second year of teaching. He did not have any problem with Nicole and goes, I don't understand why people do. Has a real hard time with my oldest son. He wants to go down there and just knock his head, but I won't leave that. Anyway, he's a good friend. So I tell her, and she says, going back to being in the bedroom now, she goes, is that all? I said, I like to wear women's clothes. She goes, is that all? I go, you just said, is that all? Oh my God! This rock just lifted off my shoulders. She didn't say, get out of here. Get your clothes, get your stuff, and get the hell out of here. She didn't say that. To her credit. And she tried to stay with me for 10 years. I did not let Nicole out of that bag for those 10 years. She always knew I would go to transgender conferences once a year and that kind of thing. I had to do it. I had to be with my people. But it got to her to a point where she goes, I just can't do it anymore. I said, you can't do it anymore? What else can I do? I'll do anything. Yep, I'm done. Sorry. So we divorced. And I cry about it still. And it's been 9 years. I still cry about it. Most days I think about her first thing in the morning and last thing at night. Horrible. Worst thing ever. But I'm educating people. So there's some good that's coming out of it. This is good to me. But I know you guys might have questions. So do you have any questions that you have? Okay, that's fine if you don't. Do you have one? Yeah.
So when in transgender, is it just a desire to identify as a woman and just in a sense in dress, or is it also, I'm assuming it's also sexually?
No, see that's the
change from being attracted
see that's
to
the thing about it. I was always heterosexual as a guy. Loved, well, I call myself a chemisexual because that's what her name was, and that's what I wanted. You know, I just wanted her. I didn't care about anybody else. But all I know is, I don't know why I think the way I do, but I only can think that this is the way women think, because I don't know any other way to describe it. You think the way you do, male, how you think this way, and that's how it is. You wouldn't possibly think of doing this. You don't have the brain that I do. And that's all I can explain.
It's more about gender than
And yeah, and so the difference between gender and sexual orientation, they're totally separate. One's between here and one's down there.
Sure.
But here's my opinion on this. If you just want a little bit of snippet of my belief system, my belief box. With all the research that I've done, reincarnation is one of the things that I truly believe in. And I truly believe that transgenderism comes from a fact of living many lives as the gender that you are now drawn to. So if I lived 10 lives before as a woman, and that's where I was comfortable, then it would make sense to me that memory, although it's a very subconscious memory, is affecting how I'm going to live here. And I believe that's where it comes out in homosexual relationships as well. Just coming from that idea of a past life. So there's a lot of people talking about that. If you research it, that's a possibility. And it makes sense to me. It makes total sense to me. So I don't know why. I just know it is.
There was this story about a female. She wanted to be blind, but she could see perfectly. So and she's a functional human being, but she just wants to, don't see anymore because she believes that in her past life she was blind and she couldn't, function like that by using her eyes. So she ended up putting acid down her eyes, then blinding herself, and she's happy.
Yeah.
She's happy.
Now that's probably a very unusual circumstance.
Yes.
I won't judge that. But I have a question. I haven't thought about that. What if everybody were blind in our world? If everybody were blind, how would we dress? We wouldn't care about transgender people. No one would care. So I wish we could all just kind of do that without being that. Just think of being, blind. Be blind to everything that you think you know about people, and let them be who they are, and then let them be happy. And if you're happy, what difference would it make to them? In fact, that was what really pissed me off about what happened to me. I got happy, and everybody else got sad. What the freak is that about? That's ridiculous. That's what I'm talking about. Cups and cups of full. My cup was full. Their cup wasn't full. I emptied their cup like that. I said, go fill your freaking cup up. I'm happy. Why don't you be happy for me? No, I don't want to be happy for you. Now you've made me unhappy. Yes.
What about children who are non-binary gender? Like they just have neither way. Like,
Do we have to have?
do we have to have
one?
That's the most brilliant thing about childhood. Is
Exactly.
that a lot of children have no gender.
Exactly. And let them lead. Let the child lead. Because they're going to tell you.
They're going to tell you.
You know what they're doing? They're judging their happiness.
Right.
It's their happiness thing. They're going this way because I'm happy. I'm going to go over here because I'm happy.
And I've worked with children who sometimes they identify with one gender, and then a year later they're identifying,
Exactly. Here's where the problem happened. Kids moving over here is being happy, happy, happy. Parents looking at them and go, you can't be happy going over there.
Right.
Because you're making me unhappy. It ain't nothing about the kid. It's the parent or the adult that they're involved with.
I also think that we are starting to really educate and really open up. Like this,
It's
like,
really come out.
Yeah, it's like a
Really.
huge
Well, and I mentioned Caitlyn Jenner's,
Yeah.
a second ago. That happened, and that person has more courage
Yeah.
probably than me. I don't know if I can go on the spotlight like that. But I admired Bruce Jenner. In fact, saw him at a Nike conference a couple years ago. And, you look at Bruce Jenner and go, no way that person would ever be transgender. No way. Well, let me tell you, transgenderism is not partial to who they think you are. They're going to attack anybody, and it just is what it is. So now, thank God, Caitlyn is now educating a ton of people.
And I think that we're fortunate to live in Portland where there's huge support,
Yes. Yeah.
especially for the homeless population that
Yeah.
surrounds
Right.
that have had, has come here to
Right.
find like a safe haven. Inside Out is amazing.
Yeah,
And,
right. Transactive is a great one for the youth, the little kids. I'm not real up on all of the outlets for them, but
But I think the more education.
yes, exactly. I totally agree. And the more people that, I know a lot of people that were in my community that all they do now is they're what they call stealth. They're in the world, and they hope that nobody knows about their past. Well, they're not educating anybody. And I got to say, I'm very comfortable moving through the world as easy as I can, and I know there's a lot of people like me who don't.
And even when you are a supportive parent, I mean, there's like, you can only be supportive for your child if you have an adequate support system yourself to be able to.
Exactly.
I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah. But you know what? There's no issue at all with people that just love each other.
Right, that's true.
I mean, and love themselves. And it's got to start here. It really, really does. I cannot emphasize that enough. Because people, if you're happy with yourself, all you want other people to do is be happy. Don't fit them in a box that is your belief box, that belief box makes you happy or unhappy. Get this right. I'm telling you, it's the key. How much time we got, Deb?
12:21, so 9 minutes.
Okay, I don't know how much time you'd like to write me something, because I really appreciate it.
Do you have any other
Just
pressing
any other questions?
Or what was, you said there was not transgender, but you said like a specific,
Oh, not combining, not
okay, what is that?
That's like you're neither male nor female. They're like gender neutral.
Right.
What do you call it, cis, right?
Huh?
Cisgen.
Cisgender is actually a term for people who are like most people, where they identify as male, that's who but their body shows. That's cisgender means you are who you're portraying yourself to be. You're male, you dress male, you act male, you are male. That's cisgender.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you gonna post this video on YouTube?
If it turns out okay, I will. Yeah, I'll try to. Yeah, and there's some other ones there.
Nicole Kins,
Yeah, let me
K-I-N.
write it down. So, and if you have any questions that I didn't answer,
I think there's another class in here, but you can certainly answer questions outside.
here's my email address. If you just want to email a question. So, but that's just type my name in YouTube, and you'll have a YouTube list of videos, and if the videos that are listed aren't all mine, you can click on my videos on the left-hand side or something, it'll just go up with what are.
Are the videos similar to this one? Like
Very similar, yeah. You know, the message varies, but I tell you, as I've,
more information because some of the classes were longer.
yeah, the more I into my story about all of it, I mean, there's something about Bill Murray in there. I met Bill Murray when I was playing baseball, and that's a whole nother story. And what happened with Bill Murray, just real quick one, met Bill Murray my first year as a professional baseball player because he was a friend of the owners. And he came and did a segment for Saturday Night Live that year with the baseball team I was on. And Saturday Night Live did a segment for Saturday Night Live that was going to be shown that October. And he spent 2 weeks with the team, and it was awesome, and I know Bill Murray. So that October, when they're supposed to show the video, I didn't get to see it. That was when VCRs couldn't record things. They were this big, you know? So I didn't get to see it. 27 years later, I'm at a transgender conference in, up in Washington, Port Angeles. And I'm sitting in the room with this couple, and they were from Aberdeen, Washington, which is where I had played baseball. And they were now living in Olympia, and they go, "Where are you from? Where are you from?" I say, "I'm from Atlanta." "Where are you from?" "I'm from Olympia, but we used to live in Aberdeen." I go, "Aberdeen? I played baseball there." The guy goes, "Were you there when Bill Murray was there?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I have the video of that thing that they did there."
Oh, nice.
That's how I got to see a video, and I'm on it, of Bill Murray and Saturday Night Live and me being on. Our whole team was, but because of a transgender conference. Go figure. Wild stuff. How the world moves you, you know. But if you would take the time, just jot down a little paragraph or something. If this message made sense to you, if more people need to hear it, I think they do, but that's my opinion. But thanks for letting me speak to you, and good luck with your futures.